Hey everybody, it's Modesta Mahig. I'm going from Purposeful Excellence. Hopefully the lighting is a whole lot better today. We are on a series called How to Bounce Back from Any Setback, and this is day 3. And so if you haven't been on Purposeful Excellence before and you think, okay, who is she? What is she doing? And where is she? Today's Sunday, you know that it's Sunday, so it's family day. And I am stuck in a room because the rest of my family is around. We're talking about how to bounce back from setbacks. Purpose and License is a platform that's reaching out to build 100 million African leaders that are moving and shaking things in the marketplace. But one of the things that we know for sure is before you can go out and get it in the marketplace, in your career, in your business, if it's ministry or any impact that you want to make, you truly need to make sure your life 360 in every area of your life, works well. And so what happens when we get a setback, when we're on this trajectory, we know we're going places and we're going to do things, and then life happens to us, which it will happen to the best of us. What do you do? And so I started this series on how to bounce back from any setback. And day 1 was really talking about getting a hold of your thoughts and feelings. Because when you get a setback, obviously that is not what you planned. You plan for things to go smoothly. You plan for things to go well. All of a sudden, life hits you a million miles an hour and you are gutted, you are winded, you do not know what to do. So first of all, you get a hold of your thoughts and feelings. You write down what you're thinking and what you're interpreting this setback to be. You write down what you're feeling and what you feel that, you fear that you're going to lose, you fear that you're going to be out of control over, what you fear is going to be, it's going to happen to your future. You write all of that down. And then yesterday we spoke about the fact that we need to remember the fact that this setback does not define us. And yesterday is so critical. Why? Because it takes you to an area of strength. It takes you back to the position of saying, hey, listen. You tell this setback, I was here before you arrived. I have overcome enough things to be here today on this journey to where I'm going. And so you do not define me. The same principles I used then, the same God that helped me get over that is the same God that will see me through here. And so I use this example. Let's say you're on a road, you're driving somewhere, you're walking somewhere, and the road works. And they say, okay, no, this road is closed for now. Use a diversion. And then you come back and you can go, to where you're going. You're not going to stop going to your destination simply because of the diversion on the road, right? You're just going to go to whatever, way on the side that you're told to go to, and then you eventually continue to your destination. Equally with this setback, you're not going to stop dreaming. You're not going to stop, pursuing your vision. You're not going to stop going after your goals simply because you have a setback. Matter of fact, factor in that setback. Factor in that life will happen. We can't control everything, but what we can do, as Zig Ziglar says, it's not what happens to you that determines how far you go in life. It's how you respond to what happens to you. And I'm all about how you can respond constructively, positively, with power and with strategy to make sure that you can still maintain where you are going. And so that was yesterday. Do not let this setback define you. You speak to this setback and say, listen, I've been through enough things in life. There were things that happened before I got over them. And there will be things after you. I don't even think you're the last setback is going to happen in my life. There'll be things after you, and I will get over those too. But what you need to know is this, setback, that I have, the spiritual fortitude, that I have the character, that I have the competence, that I have the skills, that I have the experience. I am the right person doing the right thing at the right time, going to the right place. And so if I need to go off, recalculate route, find a different way to where I need to go, I will do that as long as it is legal and it is ethical. I will do it. But I am not changing my target. I am not changing my destination. I am not compromising on my dreams and aspirations just because life happened to me. And I do not care whether it is a personal thing that happened to you and it's a relationship lost, or it's a career opportunity foregone, or a business partnership that didn't go well. Either way, you can still pick up from where you are now. And yesterday I called it your norm. Call this now your norm. This is my norm now. This is my new norm. And so I need to work with what I have right now, but I'm still headed in the same direction. And today I want to talk about how you can plan your way back up. So day 3 is all about, and I really want to get into the practicals of things. We can talk about all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, after we get over the emotion and thinking through what that really means and being philosophical, we need to just get down to the practical. And so pen and paper in hand, ask yourself, if this is where I find myself, what can I do now? How do I strategize now to make sure that I can work with what I have now, which can, is probably compromise or less and not the ideal compared to my original plan A, but how can I work with what I have now to still ultimately get me to the same destination? And so let's look at your day, for instance. You've got 24 hours a day like everybody else. Let's start strategizing from a position of strength. What are your core values? What are those things that you say, this is non-negotiable? And so I don't care the setback. I am going to pray to my God every single morning, or, I don't care the setback. I am going to prioritize my spouse and my children. Doesn't matter the setback. I will not get into criminal activity, just to make up what I've lost. It doesn't matter the setback. I will still treat people with integrity, even if people may have compromised me. I will still be loving. I will still be respectful. I will still, if it's about, keeping confidentiality, I will still do that. I will stay professional. I will stay ethical to the very end. It doesn't matter what the setback is. It does not change me in my core. And so whatever it is now I'm going to be doing in my 24 hours a day, there's certain core values that make me who I am, that they will not be compromised. And you can prioritize your values. I mean, there's so much of this in the programs that I offer on Purpose and License. Please go to purposeandlicense.africa for you to get into the details of the master plan class, the executive coaching, and some of the programs and the material and the topics that we discuss. So one of them is this. You can plan your way back up from this setback by taking an audit of who you are, what your core values are that you will not compromise. And it could even include a lifestyle. Like there's certain things, we will have milk and we will have eggs. I mean, I'm getting really down to the basics. Like there's certain things, listen, setback, this will not go. I am still going to do that. But now look at what it is you are willing, and indeed you must review and possibly reform, change a little bit, so that you are not knocked down completely by this setback, but can plan your way back up. And so, for instance, let me go to finances. That's usually a biggie. All right, so whatever your goals were, whether this was a career move and it didn't work out, so you didn't get that bonus, or you didn't get that promotion, or you didn't get that move, which have given you that mobility, allowance, or whatever it was, you are where you are, and your finances are compromised. Or maybe it's a business thing, and so you didn't get the deal you wanted to get, you didn't come on time, or whatever it is, I don't know, your stuff is stuck at the port, whatever it could be. So you're stuck here right now. Start to strategize. And I would suggest that you do this with somebody that you trust, somebody you can hold who can hold you accountable, and somebody that you see to be an expert and a go-to person. And so, you can sit down. So let's say it's in a home context, it can be with your spouse or whoever else that you make decisions with. If it's at work, it can be with your supervisor or a peer or a mentor. If it is in business, it could be with your partner or with your colleagues or somebody else who's in business that has gone through similar things to you and has overcome. So you sit down and you strategize and you say, okay, so this has been our monthly budget, for this thing that we want to do. But now that, this money hasn't come in, we have to make some adjustments here so that we can still take care of the basics, which is why it's so important for you to know your core values, your non-negotiables, your basics, if it's for a business, for that business to stay afloat every single month. So you're going to look at the basics of the overheads. Is that your premises? Is that, your utilities? What are the basics? Is that your salaries? And, trim down to the basics. Everything extra, remove that. And say, okay, before our budget was maybe, I don't know, a couple $100,000. We're now working with less than $100,000. Or, let me say maybe our budget was 40 million shillings. We're now talking at 20 million max because of what happened. So what needs to stay? What can be outsourced, or what can be combined, or what can be completely cleared in this short time when we have to, make adjustments. And so you write that down. That way your business stays operational. You're still paying, your people. If you have to cut down people, sadly, sometimes you do. And so you're keeping, who's really, really core, and maybe you're getting a system, to run other operations that you otherwise had people. Or if you were not so involved, maybe now you start going back to the market, you start selling and you're marketing, and maybe you're doing the accounting, whatever it is that you can do in this little, in this transition period that you're in this time where it's tight for you. Do that so that you can remain in business and ride out this wave that is the setback. So that is financially. If you had financial goals that are now compromised, you have a setback financially and you're wondering what to do, you can sit down and plan out, what is our budget? If you don't do a budget, I think it's time now that you do a budget. What are the expenses that we incur? What is the income that's coming in? And so when you're looking at them and they do not make sense, either they do not balance or they're more expenses than income, then you have to look at some of the expenditures, some of the things that you put your money to pay for, how you can cut those down to the very necessary during this period of transition as you're working way back up. And listen, if you find yourself breaking even that is not a good place to be, because if you are in business to make a profit and to do well, and if you want to go back to that target you initially had and to surpass it, then clearly you must still go down, live below your means, so that you can not only be able to pay the minimum, but you can also have a buffer, additional amount that you can build up to where you initially wanted to be. All right, something else. Let's look at time. And so maybe now you really are pressed for time because you have to do more things yourself. What do you then do? You're looking at your life in its entirety. So how long do I sleep? I know every time I get into people's sleep, they're like, what does he want to cut down my sleep? There are times you can't cut down your sleep. Can you cut down your sleep, wake up earlier and do something that generates income for you, for instance, and before you go to your official job, so that you can make up the income that you need. I mean, this is what my husband and I, have had to do. If we have goals, and we actually at the moment do have goals, and they require us to earn a whole lot more than we currently are, given a situation, being at school and consulting and all kinds of other things, then you make a plan. So you do over and above what you have to do. So you wake up earlier and you're doing work. And so we're working between the US and Africa, and it's different time zones. So you wake up early and you're serving clients in Africa. Then during the day, when it's afternoon and evening on the continent, you are working with clients in the US. Whatever you need to do that. Maybe you had subscriptions to TV, I don't know, DSTV, cable. Cut those out and put that money towards something else. Like I told you, one of our kids goes to public school, that's free. Another child is homeschooled because private education would have been too expensive for what we are planning, to get ourselves financially to now. Again, we're just the two of us with our children, and so we have to manage our time differently. Everybody's pursuing, everybody wants to be in the market, doing it, getting it. My husband is going all out, after it. I am going all out after it. We have children, no help. What do you do? And so you plan your days and your hours around each other. Who is doing what early morning when somebody's with the kids, and then thereafter the kids are at school, so then you can do your own thing. Then who has to be back in time, to be with them, and what are you doing over the weekend? Who is resting when what is being done where? You have to make those adjustments. Plan your way back from this setback. You could be in a situation where you have to let go of your gardener and your nanny and your cook and whatever else that you have and your driver. Ain't no shame. And this is something else. This is why I wanted you to know in day 2 that your setback doesn't define you. There is no shame to having to overcome certain hurdles to make adjustments, because you haven't, that your goals, that your dreams, that your aspirations, exactly where they were before you went through this setback or this transition or whatever it is. And so you have nothing to prove to anybody, least of all yourself. You know you're the same person with the same virtues, with the same skills and competencies, and character and everything. And you know you're still headed the same place. You still have the goals. You haven't compromised them, but you've hit a glitch on the road. And so what do? You make adjustments. And so you're going to make lifestyle adjustments. You're not going to shop where you used to shop. You're not going to buy the things you used to buy. People are like, oh, but it's not like you're here. You know what? You get that thing. This thing is $17. Like, don't tell people that it is. It's $17. It's a $17 wig. Hi, do you like it? Do it look good? Nice. I am making adjustments. Fine. You used to have a $1,700, $3,000 wig. This works just fine. And that 2,900 and how much? 83 can go towards, other things that you need at the moment. And so make adjustments in lifestyle. I do my own nails. Look, don't beat up on me. I do my own nails. I'm not, doing manis and pedis and whatever. And my husband gives me massages. I just thought to put that out there. You're making adjustments now because okay, life has happened. Things need to be done differently, but we're still headed in the same direction. And as a matter of fact, when you have a partner, when you have somebody you're doing this with, it becomes all that more strengthening, all that sweeter, because it's not just me and my mind and all I can think of, and there are times you're thinking, we're barely moving the needle to where we want to go. Is this really this, are we really the same people going towards the same things? Should we just throw in the towel? Should we have different pursuits, different aspirations, different dreams? I mean, does God really still want us here doing this and going after this? And when you're two are definitely better than one. So get that trusted person that you can have this conversation with. So when you're done, you're like, today I'm having a hard time because I'm trying to push this thing and things aren't going as I really wanted. I need you to hold forward, or I need somebody to just prop me up. Please remind me that, our dreams are still valid. Please remind me that, I still have what it takes. I mean, there are times I need that pep talking, but then you get back on the game. Okay, so where are we doing on that? So we have these Fridays that, that we have this conversation in our finances. So what are we doing? What are we hitting? On Monday. So what is that thing that we're wiping off of, maybe if it's a debt or if it's, a bill. When you get to be with somebody else and you're strategizing, you're planning your way out, it's all that easier and liberating. Of course, you're still going through the hardships and you're thinking through and wondering how you're going to get by. But because you have somebody else to talk through it and somebody else and you're in this together, so when my husband goes out and he's going to get it, I'm like, babe, I'm so grateful you're holding forward. Thank you so much. Because right now, things are not going so well on my end and you're holding this together. And this was supposed to be my responsibility, but you've got that. I am so very grateful. So how did we do? And what adjustments are we making? We make adjustments to our groceries, adjustments to our, our utilities. I mean, you should hear me, switch off those lights, close that water. I mean, I was always like that. I was being environmentally conscious, but still, what can we do? Have these conversations. What can we remove? Can you remove cable and all kinds of subscriptions and just stick to Wi-Fi? Get that bundle, use that for anything else that you want to do. Can you, instead of eating out, just whenever, like, I eat out for lunch every day. Don't eat out for lunch every day. Can you just have that one meal per week out, and you feel, at least you weren't just, I cook and we eat at home and we have the same old stuff, but you're not letting, I don't know, 10,000, 15,000 shillings, 10, 15, $20 go every single day without taking note of it. Can you do that right now for the time that you have the setback and it's holding you? Can you find a way of combining certain things? So maybe before you had time for this and for that and the other, maybe before you did a couple of things, a couple of hours today, a couple of hours tomorrow, but right now, every single hour that you have matters. You can send every single hour that you have to go make money for you. You can send that hour, to be there with your family. You can send that hour to strategize about something. So you don't just wake up whenever, do whatever. You can now say, all right, whereas before I would look at this thing an hour today, give it a couple of days, 2 hours in. Right now, I'm sitting down 3 hours efficiently. I'm getting this thing done, setting it forward to where it needs to go for me to get feedback, and I'm on to the next thing. So manage your finances, manage your time, and especially if you can enlist somebody else to be an accountability partner, do that. Manage your relationships. And so maybe before, people could go in and out as they please, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? Do you want to? No, I don't have time to hang. I now have these goals I'm working towards because I have this setback and I want to get back to my targets. I want to get back to my route. I want to get back to achieving my goals and my dreams and my aspirations. And so you're managing relationships now in a way that you hadn't before, because every single time and energy that you have, it matters. You don't want to be around toxic people. You don't want to be around people that, yeah, we're all for you, and then they don't deliver, and then you compromise somewhere else and don't deliver. You really want to make sure that you send your word and you deliver on your word. And if you say you can't, you can't, and you let people know when you next can. And you want to surround yourself with the same people. Because right now, when everything is in a crunch, right now, when everything is tense, and you really want to plan your way back out of this setback, you cannot afford to waste in any area at all. And you know this in business, whether you're employed or you do have a business, when things are tight, people are looking to cut down costs, cut down costs. Yes, make more, but also cut down costs so that even the more that we make, we can save it and invest it rather than use it all up to monthly bills and monthly overheads. And so you cut down everywhere. You become frugal in everything. Relationships, keep it down to the minute, especially now when people are like, oh man, I don't know, maybe you should just give up. I mean, just do something different. You do not want to hear those negative things right now. You want to protect your heart with faith. And so you will just stay. Listen, this just made me remember, if you know that example of Jairus came to ask Jesus to go see his daughter. His daughter was about to die. And as a matter of fact, Jesus went and was serving other people, and the child eventually died. But Jesus like, that child is not dead. That child's asleep. And people are like, I think we kind of know when a person is dead. Do you know what Jesus did? Because he needed people to have faith. He even told Jairus, listen, do not fear, just believe. And so Jesus removed every single person from that room where the child was laying dead, except the parents and Peter, Peter, James, John. Why did he do this? When things are rough, listen to me good. When you're going through a setback, you need to surround yourself with people who will help you travail, who will help you fight to get back on track. And so you don't need, people would say, man, just get out of that marriage. I mean, unless you're going through abuse, I'm not saying, stick around, you're going through major abuse and you need separation, but, get out of that marriage. Or, oh my goodness, I mean, maybe you should do something different, get a job, and you're an entrepreneur and you're going through a setback. Just get a job and just admit there's, nothing happening. Or, at work, people are like, I don't even know why you're trying to aspire for that position. Maybe you're not cut out for it. Maybe just deal with the fact that this is the level at which you're meant to be. You don't want to be with people like that. You want to be with people who say, listen, I know this setback happened to you, but you're also responsible for this. You could have done something different. You want people who will call you out and tell you the truth, who will say, but you can overcome this. You can grow back from this. You can redeem yourself. You can plan your way back up. So you can improve your performance. You can improve your relationships. You can improve on your financial stewardship. You can improve on how you spend your time. You can improve on where you choose, to invest, what portfolio you choose to invest your money. You want to surround yourself with people who will help you plan back up. And so in this time of going through this challenge, you need to plan around your finances, your time, your relationships, your pursuits, every single area that you can think of that'll help you maximize the 24 hours you have, maximize the strength you have, maximize these resources which are now scant compared to what you originally wanted to start with or you originally had, so that you can plan how to make this new norm now work for you. And you do it shamelessly. The setback does not define you. The setback is not a room for you to now get all emotional and lose your mind and think, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose control. I'm going to lose my reputation. I won't be seen out anymore. I won't be buying the drinks. I won't be dressing up. I won't be. Listen, one of the people I follow, and I know you've heard me say this, Dave Ramsey, he says, listen, make those compromises now. Live like nobody lives right now, which is probably not as best as you would have liked to, so that later you can live like nobody else lives. Do that. You haven't compromised your dreams, your vision, your purpose, your God-given purpose. You haven't compromised your aspirations or your goals, but you have a setback. And you can use this opportunity now to look at how you can go lean, how you can plan better, how you can utilize the resources you have, time, money, relationships, networks better, so that you can make adjustments, keep into your core values, things that you won't compromise now, but still build yourself back to where you were. You can get right back on track if you choose to get a hold of your thoughts and your feelings. No shame, no guilt, no, oh my goodness, my reputation. Look, reputation is overrated. You want to make sure you have a good character, and you want to make sure that you're building something long standing. You can, make sure that this thing doesn't define you. Remind yourself, put it up. Remind yourself what God says about you. Remind yourself of all the things that God has seen you through that you have overcome. Remind yourself of what you're actually doing even now. And say, you know what? That doesn't change. This setback hasn't changed me. I'm still me. I can still do what I can do. I might have to do it differently, where the plan comes in. I might have to do it differently. I might have to do it longer. I might have to do it with different resources, but it still means I'm still going to do it. And I will still see the other side of this setback. All right, guys, I've gone 25 minutes more than I should have. Thank you so very much for following this. Please do share this far and wide. We are talking about how to build 100 million African leaders, purpose-driven leaders, that are serving at heart and they want to drive results with excellence. But this excellence is not just in the marketplace, my career, my business, what, look at me. It starts with the fact that life happens to all of us. Life comes in the context of relationships, of the extended family, of community, and all kinds of responsibilities and expectations. But we need to manage them, and we need to steward them, to responsibly steward them and manage them so that we can perform well, not just out in the marketplace, but holistically, 360 in our entire lives. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you again tomorrow when we continue with this series on how to bounce back from any setback. Much love. Vanessa Megan Goody from Purpose and License. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and get other people to get to know about it and subscribe as well. Until tomorrow, keep well. Bye.